Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would be so kind to return to the party.
With all this excitement out here,
I believe that is an end to the excitement, as you put it, Monsieur Demire.
Oh, thank God. One last match.
Bonjour, Monsieur Hagen.
I wondered when you would be arriving. At least now you can do your job.
Pardon, Monsieur.
I have just been assaulted. I want him arrested.
I am afraid it is not as simple as that. I merely witnessed you standing up from the ground.
This is ridiculous. You know very well what he did.
Perhaps you could elaborate on what instigated the altercation.
I should have known you wouldn't make things easy.
I have met Monsieur Demire. He does not seem one to physically assault someone unless provoked.
I hope you're not implying that I started it.
I am only stating what I have seen.
I was having a private conversation with Angeline when he interrupted and struck me. That is all there is to know. I would not act any other way. Well, unless I am provoked.
You have grown rather close with the Vandenbosch family, it seems.
What has my relationship with the family got to do with anything? Why are you even here, officer?
Detective. And I was invited by Mademoiselle Angeline personally.
Seems to be mistake after mistake with that girl. Of course I do. What a stupid question. He is scum. Him and his whole family. If I had my way, he wouldn't have even stepped foot in this house. Officer Poirot, are you going to do something about him or not?
It is Detective Poirot. And if you refuse to answer my questions, I do not see how I can continue.
I just don't know what she sees in him. Angeline could do so much better. I don't think she realizes what she is getting herself into. I can't imagine her living a happy life with that rogue.
I see. Merci, monsieur, for your honest opinion, whether I agree or not. I shall leave you to your cigar and return to the party. Ah. Monsieur Sterling, I trust the preparations are progressing since our last meeting.
Please, Detective. Archibald is fine. Everything is in order now. Are you ready to join the party?
You are head butler of this house. It is a position that warrants respect, and I shall continue to give it, Monsieur Sterling. And I must admit, it is the smell from the kitchen that has my attention more than the party itself.
Rehanna is quite the cook, but it will still be some time. Maybe you'd like to enjoy a drink while you wait. Some of the guests are already in the salon to your left. And the remaining guests are in the library on the first floor.
I will be sure to explore both. Merci.
Dinner will be served in the dining room, but the rest of the evening is yours to enjoy.
You have all certainly been working hard, it seems.
Very hard. The lady of the house wanted everything a certain way, and that's how it was to be done. It is my responsibility to look after the house and staff, not to resolve petty disputes.
I cannot imagine he will be in any mood to attend the party.
He often has a cigar to calm down, and if that doesn't relax him, that temperature outside surely will.
Merci. You have been most helpful. Huh.
I told you, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not a reporter.
But you're going to want to hear this. You could interview me now.
And why would I want to spend my evening doing that?
The world needs to know. You want to sell papers, I want the truth to be known. Win-win.
I came here to enjoy myself, not to hear a second-string version of...
I was there. I saw the whole thing, including who was ruining the show.
All right, I'll bite. Let's talk later.
Huh. Huh. Oh. 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 Ah. Aha. Aha. Ah. Bonjour. Are you a guest of Mademoiselle Angeline or Monsieur Demire?
Do I know you?
Where are my manners? I am Hercule Poirot.
Philomen.
Oui, monsieur. Detective Poirot. And you are?
Ernesto da Silva.
A pleasure, monsieur.
I'm a man of business.
I see. Is there a particular area of business that is your focus?
Overseas investments, international relations. I also own a number of factories in the city.
Très bien. Monsieur has many talents.
We work together as partners, yes.
You must know the Van den Bosch family well, then.
I help Madame Van den Bosch, if and when she needs me. I did, but frankly, I have no time for childish school fights.
You are not aware of the circumstances that started it, then?
I heard something about a cigar. Only Felix would be petty enough to get riled up by something so menial.
A cigar?
Yes, Monsieur Demire had one of Felix's precious cigars. If you ask me, they won't be the real thing anyway. Distinguished gentleman. It was two alpha males going head-to-head. Master Gideon came out the victor.
Surely we have passed the days where shows of unnecessary brute strength impress anyone.
When it comes to the protection of a woman, we are far from it. Man will always return to their most primitive form.
Mademoiselle Angeline, the Major has no place to feel threatened. Monsieur Gédéon is to become her husband.
And he has spent the last however many years supporting them, as he calls it, clutching on to whatever he can.
Merci for your time. It has been most intriguing. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise. You're not from around here, are you?
My name is Hercule Poirot. I am a friend of Mademoiselle, soon to be Madame, Angeline.
I see. Jacqueline Conrad. No doubt you've heard the name before.
I am rather embarrassed to say I have not, Madame.
No need for the madame. I'm not married. Just call me Jackie.
Oui, Jackie.
Seriously? You don't know who I am?
My sincerest apologies.
And I thought you Europeans were meant to be cultured. Here's the thing. I'm one of those people you want to know, and not be on the wrong side of.
Perhaps it would be wise for me to remain on your good side.
It's the best place to be. You wouldn't believe what a couple of positive stories can do for a family name, or a career.
And that is what you have done for the Van den Bosch family?
A little help goes a long way, and from what I have seen, the ladies deserve some positive support. I heard, and it doesn't surprise me, there will always be someone trying to get something out of someone else. People are only out to help themselves.
That is a rather pessimistic way of thinking.
But it's the truth. And in my experience, more often than not, it's someone the victim knows, and knows pretty well.
You make me question those I consider friends.
And maybe you should. If you have something you don't want the world knowing, just keep it to yourself. That's what we call eavesdropping.
Pardon, I didn't mean to pry.
And with respect, I don't think it's really any of your business.
I must take my leave. Allow me to introduce myself. Hercule Poirot.
Hugo Beckers. A pleasure.
I hope I am not disturbing you. I often find myself at a loose end at parties such as these.
I've never been referred to as a loose end before, but it is always good to make a new acquaintance. There is no better way to understand one's purpose in life. I stand up for the workers that cannot do it themselves.
You work with a union?
Union leader, well, that is my formal title. But I see myself as more than just that. So much more. I am the face of the people. A voice in the void when there is none.
Very spirited. You have quite the way with words.
In my line of work, it is essential. Some fight with their fists, but I believe words are the ultimate weapon. I have been working with Gideon for quite some time. We are doing great things together. Great things.
I was not aware he was part of the union.
Well, he's not exactly. But he is an ally in the battle we face. Without his support, our uphill struggle would surely be a climb. Hopefully my talks with De Silva will help him see the light. I don't know what you think you heard, but it was a private matter and I appreciate if you kept it to yourself.
I can assure you, Monsieur Beckers, your conversation is exactly that. Yours.
Then maybe we should just leave it there.
Merci. If I find myself at a loss again, I shall certainly return. Magnifique. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. What a revelation! Huh. 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 Monsieur Demir, we meet again.
What did I tell you? Call me Zach. You found your room all right then?
I did, and a charming room it is.
I don't know if I would call mine charming, but if I drink enough, it won't matter. That's okay. At least you actually care. Not like most of the others here. I'm the groom-to-be's older, more handsome brother.
Ah, oui. I see the resemblance now. How wonderful that you can celebrate this occasion together.
I'll stop you there. The only wonderful thing about this celebration is the free food and drink.
You are not pleased for your brother.
Angeline seems nice enough, but marriage is not for me. What is there to gain from tying yourself to someone for the rest of your life? Besides the money. Recently, not a great deal. Well, except for enjoying myself. I was once a field medic in the military. But those days are over.
A noble occupation. Did you not want to make it your career?
It wasn't my decision to make. I certainly don't miss the battlefield, that's for sure. I'm sure he's fine. You don't need to worry about him. Always the knight in shining armor, riding in to save the day.
Saving the day from who, exactly?
Well, if Gedeon is the knight in the fairy tale, Felix is the dragon. Felix the Major. Ha! Always there, thinking he is better. Just because he was a major. We all know how he got there. In his mind, that puts him at the top of the chain. Gedeon said they were the majors, but I didn't think he would miss just one.
Ah, it was you that took the cigar.
Pfft. Me? Okay, detective, you twisted my arm. It was me. But I didn't even get a chance to smoke it. Gideon snatched it out of my hand. I'm sure he could afford to replace it.
Perhaps it is best I take my leave. Allow me to introduce myself. Hercule Poirot.
Detective Hercule Poirot? I heard we were being joined by one of the King's finest officers.
Oui, madame. I see my name precedes me.
Comtesse Margot de Vos. Charmed, I'm sure.
It is I who is charmed.
Handsome, well-mannered, and a man of the law. I did not expect such a fine caliber of gentleman at this party.
Comtesse, your compliments are enough to make a young detective blush.
I fill my time mostly with charity work. The number of those less fortunate only continues to grow.
How very admirable.
One must remain humble. I have been a close friend to the Van den Bosch family for, well, heaven knows how long.
You must have known the late Viscount then.
Indeed, we had been friends since our school days. His passing was very hard on both Cassandra and young Angeline. I became a sort of protector of them both after his death. A guardian angel, if you will. You will find Felix at the center of any trouble, especially when it concerns the ladies of the house.
I understand he has made himself quite at home here.
What an understatement. He thinks his friendship with Cassandra entitles him to anything and everything in the house, including certain opinions of how young Angeline lives her life.
He does not approve of Monsieur Demire?
You'd have to ask him, or rather speak with Gideon's brother. He will have something to say about Felix, I am sure. A strapping young man. Angeline has found herself a good one. They certainly...
Speaking with them both, it is plain to see, even to one that is unexperienced in such emotions, that there is a great deal of love between.
When they are together, it is obvious for all to see, even at such a young age. But who are we to judge what the heart wants? He would say that. I mean, financially, yes. But what else does that man have to offer?
I cannot imagine Madame Vandenbosch would be one to request financial help.
After Edwin, the Viscount, died, the family was left in a rather unfavorable position. She wasn't requesting, chérie. She was begging.
I see.
Let's just keep that between us. It's a rather sore subject for her. Work with? I built it from the ground up, detective.
My admiration continues to grow.
While my husband, the Honorable Count de Vos, is always busy with his duties, I found myself at rather a loose end. I could not bear wasting my days with no purpose. And one day, while shopping in the city, I noticed the abundance of young women living and begging on the streets. Dirty and hungry, without a franc to their name.
It is horrifying to think of how so many must live their lives while others live a life of such selfish opulence.
I hope that was not a backhanded comment on the life I live, detective.
Far from it, Countess. You are using your wealth to better the lives of the less fortunate. It is commendable work you do.
It is, isn't it?
It has been a pleasure conversing. I look forward to our next tête-à-tête.
Fire away, detective. The major pain in the ass. Why should I? It doesn't take a detective to work out the sort of man he really is. You must have seen it, right?
I have my own history with the Major, but that is a story best not told.
I think it's a story best told now. It can't be any worse than what he did to us during the war.
You fought together in the war?
We were on opposing sides.
The subject of war is a difficult topic for everyone. Perhaps it is best to discuss something else.
If you had seen what I have, what he has done, you wouldn't side with him.
I am taking no sides, monsieur. It is just not conversation fit for a party. Perhaps it is best I take my leave. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. Another success. I never doubted myself. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Fire away, detective. I have a drink, but thanks anyway.
I just would not like to see things get out of hand.
Don't you worry about me. I've got it covered.
Perhaps it is...
I am all yours, detective. You are quite inquisitive, aren't you?
I believe it is called small...
There is small talk, and there is pride.
I assure you that is not my intention.
Monsieur, please. I know a nosy gossip hound when I see one. We can smell our own. The Major isn't worth a minute of your time, though.
You are not a fan of his.
I'd hit him with my fan, monsieur. Any man that can treat a lady the way he does doesn't deserve to be in his position.
And what position is that, may I ask?
Lording over Cassandra like she's the help. He shouts at her like she's a stray cat that's wandered into the house. Madness.
It has been a pleasure conversing. I look forward to our next tête-à-tête. What a revelation! Madame Vandenbosch, congratulations are in order on your daughter's engagement.
Thank you. And you are...
Detective Poirot.
I'm sorry, the name eludes me.
Once Officer Poirot, I investigated your daughter's missing bracelet.
Oh, it's you. There is no missing jewelry here today, so we are really not in need of your services.
I am here on a rather more pressing...
I know why you are here, officer. Detective, whatever you are now. Please, just get on with it.
Detective, and I promise not to keep you too long.
Angeline is her own woman now. She can fight her own battles. She does not need her husband to be stepping in.
And what battles would they be?
Nothing that concerns you, detective. Keep your volume down! She had no right to do such a thing. As soon as the other ladies get wind that there was a police officer in-house, the whole town will know.
Perhaps you should be more focused on catching the blackmailer that is holding your family's name to ransom than what the chattering women of the town will say.
I care more about what those chattering women, as you so rudely describe them, have to say than the empty threat of an anonymous letter.
Your daughter does not agree. In fact, it has been suggested that one of tonight's guests may know more than they are willing to show.
The guests? You mean our friends? is. You can't honestly believe one of them would be so petty to send a letter like that. Oh, officer, you have not changed. I suppose it is only polite to say you're welcome.
Madame is as quick-witted as I remember.
What a shame there is nothing as memorable about you but your lack of respect. You can make whatever...
Based on several accounts, it seems as though the Major has a certain level of disdain for him and his...
Felix is merely protecting both my daughter and the Van den Bosch name.
Protecting them from what exactly?
That is a question best asked to them. Gideon is a fine, educated young man from a well-respected family.
All important when considering a new son-in-law.
A good home and education speaks volumes about a man. Even in the short time they have been engaged, his noble character is obvious. If you were an educated man, you would know that.
I can assure you, madame, my education is not one to be sneered at.
And yet you remain a mere detective. Perhaps it is your choices, then, that are to be questioned. What do you mean, protecting? She hasn't gone and paid that silly ransom, has she?
It was Monsieur Demire that accepted the cost. He paid it because your daughter believes there may be something to hide.
For heaven's sake! Why do you think it was addressed to her and not I in the first place? Because they knew I would throw it in the rubbish where it belongs.
Madame, if there is something you are keeping, it would be wise to tell me now. It may help in identifying the culprit.
And it would be wise for you to stay out of my family's business. If I require your help, I shall ask for it. But don't hold your breath.
Merci. An enchanting conversation, as always. Magnifique.
Van den Bosch residence, how may I help you? Yes, of course. Please hold for one moment. Sir? Yes, a call for you. Shall I direct it straight through to you in the study now? Very good, sir. What can I do for you? Yes, he has been here for some time now. Lady Van den Bosch has been very good to let him stay so long.
Would you say he has become part of the family?
He's always been very vocal about how he stands the ladies in high regards, and so he should.
Merci. You have been most helpful. Things are beginning to become clear. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Let's make this quick, Detective. Locked? That is absurd. They should be constantly coming back and forth from there if they are hiding from their work again. What is it you want in my staff area, anyway?
I only mention it as I was hoping to speak to some staff members. But if they are busy...
Be a good fellow and make sure they aren't slacking off in there. It shan't take you long.
Merci. An enchanted...
Let's make this quick.
Merci. An... Oh. Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Oh, monsieur, you startled me.
It was not my intention, mademoiselle. I was hoping to talk with a member of the staff.
You are the detective?
I am Detective Hercule Poirot. I only intend to take up a moment of your time.
Madame Van der Bosch will be very hungry if she knows I'm standing talking.
Allow me to worry about Madame.
Inga Frank, detective.
From the Norse god of peace and fertility. A most beautiful name.
Merci. It was my grand-mère. Oui, detective. Madame was very clear on what was to be prepared for today.
Well, everything looks exquisite. But if I may be blunt, would you not benefit from some more hands?
Monsieur Archie knows how busy we are, especially in the kitchen. I hate when I have to run service.
Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave you to your work. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. Magnifique. What a revelation!
Oui, detective. I am at your service. That is not for me to talk about, detective. If Monsieur Archie found out I had said anything out of turn...
I am not asking you to betray your fellow staff or the family. What is said between us remains that way, mademoiselle.
It's only whispers, but the last servant was caught in areas of the house they shouldn't be. Apparently, they saw something they shouldn't have. Please, detective, if Monsieur Archibald found out I was talking like this with a guest...
My lips are sealed, mademoiselle. Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave you to your work. Another success. I never doubted myself.
What can I do for you? What have they done? If I have to...
No, monsieur. There is not a complaint to be made. It is more the recent layoffs and extra work pressure you all seem to be under I am inquiring about.
We've had to let some of them go. Let's just say their standards didn't live up to what was expected.
Merci. You have been most helpful. Things are beginning to become clearer.
Let's make this quick, Detective. The public rooms are not adequate space for you to celebrate my daughter's engagement.
Madame, I asked only the limits, as I understand a member of the staff was let go for a similar reason.
It would benefit you not to listen to whispers and rumors, officer. They did not produce a satisfactory standard of work. There is nothing more to say.
It is detective, madame. And it is just that the termination papers detail the matter and proceed to...
Need I remind you again whose house you reside in? Why would I? He is to be Angeline's new husband and my new son-in-law. If he is taking that position seriously, he will do what he must to keep his new family happy.
And to you that means paying ransom money?
It means doing what he must to protect his wife and his family name. I see you have still not learned any sense of tact or subtlety.
I see no reason to beat around the bush, madame.
Until you are pricked by a thorn.
And until that day, I shall continue with the method that best serves me. Now, Monsieur da Silva.
Yes, he has provided some financial support when it has been required. I assume that was the answer you were looking for.
Merci. An enchanting I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Is there something... It seems someone has been asking around about me.
Only polite curiosity, I can assure you.
Well, you would be right. Although working with the Viscount caused me much less grief.
Grief, monsieur.
Let's just say we didn't always see eye to eye. And if neither side is prepared to back down, there is a problem.
Merci for your time.
What can I do for you? Ah, perfect timing. I was about to ask that everyone move through to the dining room.
Très bien.
Yes, Maman. Perhaps Turkey. I would love to see my beloved's homeland.
I'm sure we will decide on somewhere. Perhaps where we are both yet to have visited.
It was my crowning achievement.
I am not so sure you workers would agree.
Are you sure? I've definitely seen your face somewhere before.
I do not believe there is another that resembles these features, or brains, at least.
I've always liked the idea of sailing the West Indies.
In that heat? With your complexion?
Okay, but you lived in the capital at one time.
Oui, mademoiselle. I spent much of my working life there.
Maybe sleeping off half a bottle of whiskey.
Let us not be so blasé with our opinions, brother.
If you ask me.
I don't believe anyone did.
You're that officer! The shootout on the rooftop! Your face was all over our front page!
It seems it is not only I that possesses great skills of deduction. You...
Please, come quick! The Major has been murdered in his study!
Messieurs et Mesdames, I am Detective Hercule Poirot of the Belgian Police Force. I ask that you all remain calm and in your seats. I shall begin my investigation immediately. Monsieur Sterling, please, lead the way.
This is Mr. Hagen's study, Detective. Would you like me to stay?
I understand if you are not comfortable with such a scene.
Don't you worry, Detective. I've seen much worse in my years.
I am thankful to have someone of your resilience by my side.
I just can't believe someone could have killed him in cold blood. Is that what you think happened?
I admire your faith in your fellow man, but you will be surprised what someone will do when they feel there is no other option.
Mr. Hagen does not allow any staff into the study, and they were all present in the staff quarters, or part of the dinner service.
And everyone was accounted for?
Everyone. It is my business to know all my staff's whereabouts. Phone call? Yeah. It was one of his business associates.
Do you know what associate?
He didn't say. I think he was French. The accent still confuses me sometimes.
And did the Major sound any different to you? Panicked, anxious, anything out of the ordinary?
Not that I noticed. I think he was embarrassed about ending up on the floor after Master Gideon's one punch. I would be.
Your help and discretion in this matter are greatly appreciated. Ah. Oh. Aha. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Ah. Ah. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of What a revelation! Magnifique. Things are beginning to become clearer. Oh. Another success.
Anything I can do to help, Detective? Rihanna brought him some ice for his cheek earlier.
And when was that?
When he returned from his cigar outside, he asked for something to be brought upstairs to ease the swelling of his face. He would normally smoke only in here. Lady Van den Bosch doesn't like the smell of his cigars in the public rooms.
Your help and discretion in this matter are greatly appreciated.
Oh.
Huh. Oh. Aha. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Things are beginning to become clearer. Another success. I never doubted myself. Magnifique. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Anything I can do to help, Detective? As I said, Mr. Hagen did not allow the staff in here alone, besides me. He was very clear on that.
Have the staff ever given him reason to not trust them?
Nothing has ever been brought to my attention, but he was very clear no one was to be in here without his permission.
I suppose it is not unreasonable. I would have thought with his military past he would have kept it immaculate, with not a speck of dust or hair out of place. But the fireplace, for instance, says otherwise.
I haven't seen it lit since he has been with us, even in the colder months. It's been in this state for some time.
Your help and discretion in this matter are greatly appreciated. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. What a revelation! The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Anything I can do to help, Detective? As you wish.
Huh. Huh. Aha. Aha. Huh. Mm-hmm. Things are beginning to become clearer. Magnifique. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Certainly. What do you need? The male guests, I believe, he knows in a business capacity, but I'm afraid that's all I know. I will add, though, he has not always been the easiest man to get along with.
You are talking from personal experience of working for him.
I am head butler to the Van den Bosch family in their home. He has made himself comfortable, but to me he still remained a guest. There's not much I couldn't tell you. As soon as he found out my father was in the army, his stories never stopped.
I am sure an officer of his rank must have many a tale.
A tale is a fitting description. Not so much a pinch of salt, more like a bag is needed listening to them. You've lost me, Detective.
I struggle to believe they were both helping her out of the kindness of their hearts. Could they have been fighting for the Madame's affection?
Ah, that didn't take you long to spot.
Your help and discretion in this matter are greatly appreciated. What a revelation! The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Another success. I never doubted myself.
Certainly. What do you need? As you wish, Detective. The guests are waiting for you, Detective. I informed them of what has happened, but divulged no details.
I am most grateful. Madame Vandenbosch is here also?
She's in her room with Miss Angeline. It may be better to speak with them privately tomorrow.
Oui, merci. I shall come find you again once my questioning is complete. Oh. Ah. I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
So the Major was murdered?
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to him.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time. Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Detective Poirot is perfect. Merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot. I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising, and then I made my way to the library.
Where you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants bought me a drink, and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you, and the servant.
And you are sure there was no one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, detective. You were there.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation. Monsieur de Silva, merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
Merci for your cooperation. Monsieur Demir, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further. Comtesse, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Comtesse.
Well, it's at the top of mine, detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie. I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you. Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci. Another success. I never doubted myself. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. Magnifique. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. What a revelation! Things are beginning to be...
I'm an open book, Poirot. I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Whatever you require, detective. I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation. Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that...
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Some would say a lucky guess. What a revelation! Things are beginning to become clearer.
I'm an open book, Poirot. Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him, except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same. When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
Perfectly. I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Whatever you require, detective. I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead. Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us. Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence. I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gideon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them. Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
More questions? I suppose so. Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course. What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves. He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property. That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship. Merci for your call.
No trouble at all. How can I help? I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive. What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink. We aren't the closest, but what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say. I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require...
I am all yours, Detective. Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Countess.
Wise thinking, Detective. I imagine she will have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him. What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, Detective, I am not one to gossip.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth. He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame Van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
Merci, Comtesse.
You came to the right place. What do you need? I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed. That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst. If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right? I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
You have been most helpful.
I'm an open book, Poirot. That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on your relationship.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now. If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union, why don't you ask him?
So, you are aware of his support for them?
Yes, well, he...
Oui, monsieur?
It'd be best to just ask him.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
No trouble at all. How can I help? I believe there are more important matters at hand than talking about my brother and I's relationship, or lack thereof.
The murderer is in this house, and by holding back information that may help my investigation, you only make me suspicious of your involvement. Monsieur Demir, if you continue to withhold information, I can only assume you are hiding something, and must treat you as a prime suspect in the Major's murder.
I have nothing to hide. If you must know, we have not been on the best terms for years now. As I said, We are different people. He does not see the importance of planning for the future, and as much as my parents tried, they could not make him see that. I suppose that is why he sees me as their favorite.
He still believes that now?
I assume so. We barely talk anymore. I was hoping we would be able to sit down and talk and leave the past behind. But this evening has not panned out that way.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may...
I am all yours, detective.
Countess, you gave me the impression the Major and the Madame were close, but there were times where he acted rather aggressively to her, n'est-ce pas?
I am sorry, detective, but I did not mean to give you such an impression. Ever the charmer, detective. I would talk more on it, but I'm afraid Cassandra would think I am talking about her behind her back. It is not often I am swayed so easily. I applaud you on your willingness and persistence. From day one, I was wary of his intentions. And it was not long before he showed his true colors. If it is a tear she sheds, it should be one of joy that he is out of her life.
I understand your feelings towards the Major, but perhaps there was...
He was a bully. He took his shortcomings out on her, and she sat there and accepted it. I never thought I would see the day. Perhaps now she...
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you. Magnifique. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Another success. I never doubted myself. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
More questions?
Mademoiselle Conrad was quick to talk of your hidden feelings towards her, perhaps only hidden to Madame Vandenbosch herself.
What has this got to do with the Major's death? Does Cassandra know you have spoken to others about this? I have only tried to help her. There may be some feelings there, but Madame Vandenbosch does not know of them, and I trust that it will remain that way.
Merci for your cooperation. My time with the guests is complete, for tonight at least.
Do you know who killed Major Hagen?
I am afraid it is not as simple as that. There are many steps that lead to the truth. I must think on everything I have heard this evening and dissect the truths from the lies. Merci for your assistance this evening. Au revoir. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. Another success. I never doubted myself. Magnifique. Things are beginning to become... What a revelation! Entrez.
Detective, I'm sorry I did not join you in the salon as requested.
Please, mademoiselle. There is no need to apologize.
I was with Maman in her room. She would not allow anyone to see it, but I could see she was terribly upset.
Most understandable.
Do you have any suspicions as to who could have killed him?
I'm afraid my suspicions extended across all of the party's guests. While it seems as though their alibis all corroborate one another's, the disdain and hostility towards the Major makes them rife with motive.
I know there was some bad blood between the Major and some of the guests, but not enough to kill him, surely. She may seem tough on the exterior, but she's really quite kind when you get to know her.
The Countess? She is a formidable force I would not want to come up against.
Don't be silly, Detective. She wouldn't hurt a soul. Jacqueline, I mean. I assume that's who you were talking about, Detective, after what happened between them.
That is a story I have yet to hear.
She must have told you about the piece she was writing on us, about Gideon's work and our marriage.
Somehow that was the only thing she did not mention.
That's strange. I thought that is what she would have started the conversation with. Well, she had come to the house to interview me, and when I entered the library, she was there with Felix amid a rather heated conversation.
Do you know what this conversation regarded?
I'm afraid not, but Felix was quite enraged. He picked up an envelope from the table and stormed out, slamming the door behind him.
And Mademoiselle Conrad?
She was equally heated in the moment. She had a few choice words for him that I wouldn't care to repeat. Better, thank you, Detective. She's resting in her room. It is the best place for her.
And you, mademoiselle?
I'm not quite sure. It is a rather surreal feeling. I did not think I would miss him like I do.
It is understandable. He has been a close friend to your maman for many years.
And to me, Detective. We had grown close. After Father's passing, he was always there for me. And now, he's gone as well.
You must try and not think on it like that.
It is easier said than done, Detective.
I have no doubt, but you can be assured the culprit will not remain at large for long. You have my word.
I'm sorry, but I just can't imagine any of them committing such a heinous crime.
It can often be hard to look past one's personal feelings for someone and see their flaws.
It's not that, Detective. It's just they have known each other for years. Why would any of them act now?
I was under the impression the Major had merely a business relationship with some of the guests.
That's true, but those invited know each other, some of them for years. They may not seem like it, but some are even friends. I should return to my room now, Detective. It has been a trying day for us all.
Oui, mademoiselle. I am afraid tomorrow may bear a resemblance, but I will not stop until I have found him.
I am certainly glad you are here.
When and where a detective is required, that is where I shall be. Bonne nuit, mademoiselle. The pieces of the puzzle. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. What a revelation! Magnifique.